When Britain decided to make 1951 festival year to celebrate the centenary of the Great Exhibition, towns and villages all over the country played their part. In our town, the festival committee asked the Film Society to make a film as part of the celebrations. So I, as scriptwriter, went along to meet the committee and find out what they had in mind. I asked the committee what they thought the film should be about. The mayor, Councillor Ward, was first with a suggestion. Beech trees. The wood from the Chilterns. The wood that for over a century has brought prosperity to the town and has earned it the name Valley of Chairs. The wood that used to serve the bodger working in his country cottage now comes direct to the factories to be turned into chair legs by men like old Ralph Gray, who's been making them for 53 years. The mayor told me that everyone knows people have lived in the valley for centuries, and many old buildings, like Bassetsbury Manor, remind us of Wycombe's antiquity. But we don't want a film of the history of Wycombe. We are part of it ourselves. So why not make us a picture of Wycombe today, which will show our great-grandchildren what we were like and how we lived? It was Saturday morning, market day, and it seemed a good time to start finding out a little more about the people who make up our community. The old name for the town was Chepping Wycombe, and Chepping means market, so it is appropriate that the market still flourishes 2 days a week. Traders come from as far away as East London to sell their wares, or merely to have an argument. Yes, in Wycombe, as in any other town, there are all kinds of people with all kinds of opinions, and election time offers a fine opportunity for airing them, as I realized when I heard and read some of the arguments put forward by the Honourable William Astor and Mr. John Haire, the contestants in the 1951 general election. Everyone gets a word in, for in critical times a strong government is essential. The candidates were hard put to it, satisfying constituents, and although it was the quietest election anyone could remember, Astor beat Haire, and the Tories swept socialism from power with a majority of 17. For young couples everywhere, Saturday is also a wedding day, and the parish church of All Saints is a scene of many during the summer months. When you get married, you want a home of your own. Those who have already taken the plunge know that the tidy villa is not easily come by. The drab street of houses, our unhappy heritage from the Industrial Revolution, may have provided homes quickly, but look what they're like now. Today we demand something better, but the problem is still with us. The Englishman's home may still be his castle, but the fact that some live in ex-army encampments is a symptom of our own age and of the acute housing shortage that has followed 2 world wars. Wycombe appeals to many city workers who enjoy living in its pleasant surroundings and daily catching the train to London. Others come into Wycombe from outside to work. With the rapid growth of industry since the war, it is not surprising that people from other lands have come to work for amongst us, living mostly in hostels like the one at Flackwell Heath, and every morning taking the bus to one of Wycombe's several hundred factories. The past 12 years have seen the development of many new industries in the valley. Alongside the old factories, men and women in modern ones are busy helping Britain's life and death struggle for more and more exports. worth noting that the number employed in the furniture trade in Wycombe today is now exceeded by those in other newer industries, making everything from lipsticks to pneumatic drills, from blotting paper to radio valves, from biscuits to lemonade, and from easy chairs to vacuum cleaners. And in contrast with the throb of heavy industry, Clifford Hoeing delicately fashions a violin to be shown in London at the South Bank exhibition. He used to be a chairmaker, but made a profession of his hobby when he was once out of work. Beyond the town, where broad roads dwindle into narrow lanes, the farmer reaps his crop of golden corn from the rich Buckinghamshire soil. From factory and farm to office and shop. How about this one, madam? You don't think so? Well, what about this? In this, as in so many other things today, the husband's word doesn't count for much, since so many women earn their own living. And even if they don't yet get equal pay for equal work, they show that they deserve it. And, oh yes, one of the most surprising things made in Wycombe is the festival postage stamp. The old Wycombe families are represented by Mr. and Mrs. R.P. Clark. Mr. Clark was once mayor of the town. His father was for many years town clerk, and both his grandfathers were mayors before him. And the furniture makers. Typical of their industry is a man who, with his brothers, has carried on the thriving business built up by his father from a humble garden shed. In his lifetime, Eric Gill, the distinguished sculptor, founded the artistic community of Pigots, North Dean, and his Gill Sands and Perpetua types, used in the printing works Hague and Gill, run by his son-in-law, are famous throughout the publishing world. The publishing world gave birth earlier this year to a remarkable book, which gives a startling picture of English life and leisure today. A storm of controversy has been aroused by the significant work of Mr. Seabohm Rowntree, the distinguished sociologist. The report is based on the habits and morals of the people of York and High Wycombe. Mr. Rowntree is also president of the High Wycombe Arts Association. Next, I went back to the mayor to find out something about the civic side of life in the town. He had once pointed out Wycombe's unique advantage in having all its municipal buildings in Queen Victoria Road: the town hall, the post office and municipal offices, the police station, and the fine public library with its 50,000 volumes. And the town clerk, Mr. Beecroft, was able to tell me something about the housing problems and how they're being tackled in the town. New housing estates are springing up for homeless and overcrowded families and those newly married couples who daily swell the waiting lists, longing for a home of their own. Parts of the town are still ugly, but efforts are being made and plans are being drawn up that will help make it a pleasanter, happier, and more beautiful place for our grandchildren to live in. Not only have we a fine modern hospital with 100 beds, but also there are homes like Booker Hospital, where our grandfathers are cared for in their old age. Your grandfathers, people of 2051, are also well cared for, right from their conception. Over 100 mothers a week visit the clinic on the Rye and are given antenatal advice. And when their babies are born, they can bring them to be weighed and, if necessary, examined by the doctor. Their diets are watched and controlled so that every baby shall have a healthy start in life. When the baby becomes a toddler, the town begins to prepare him in its nursery schools, ready for the real job of educating him or her to become a useful member of society. Apart from their more academic lessons at the Mill End Secondary Modern School, girls also learn the domestic arts of how to run a small home and keep it clean and tidy. They are also taught how much depends on that all-important element of a tasty dish. The boys are taken up by Desborough Castle to learn the methods of livestock keeping, which may be useful in a farming career. And from the grammar school, many will go on to a university. Adults and children alike can learn any of a wide variety of subjects at the old technical college, which is already being replaced by a new one. A girls' school in beautiful surroundings is the famous Wycombe Abbey, which was the home of the United States 8th Air Force during the last war. Their baseball has given way to school cricket. And school days aren't all work. Children's natural energy needs an outlet like the inter-school sports on the Rye, where future record breakers may be found in training. Records mean nothing to many boys and girls who are happy playing on their own, or under the watchful eye of Uncle Tom, who has seen generations of Wycombe's children grow up. Several movements, like the Boy Scouts and Girl Guides and various service cadet forces, train youth to be prepared for the future and all the perils it may hold. Off duty, youth may be less uniformed. Or is it? That afternoon on the Rye, I watched the last cricket match of the season. While at Lokes Park, the Wanderers fans cheered on their team into the beginning of a new season. As the salesman prepared to leave Wycombe at the end of a long day, I started home thinking over all I had seen in one packed day of Wycombe life. And on the way I was waylaid by a friend who persuaded me that I had time for refreshment before getting down to work. I joined him in the Antelope, one of Wycombe's oldest pubs, and a former coaching inn, run by Mr. Gibbs. As my friend bought me a beer, I realized it was as well that I had accepted his offer, for in the Antelope I was reminded that Wycombe people have other ways of spending their spare time. To many, the pub is almost a club, but others may belong to such organizations as the Round Table, Rotarians, Masons, and Buffaloes. Lacemaking has long been a Buckinghamshire skill and is among the hobbies and handicrafts that take up many people's leisure hours. Festival exhibitions of painting, pottery, and handicrafts have been encouraged this year by the High Wycombe Arts Association. Professional entertainment thrives in Wycombe with a hard-working repertory company. And they are not afraid to give their public Shakespeare, even though less exacting entertainment is offered by either of Wycombe's 4 cinemas, who cater for the most Catholic of tastes. There's plenty for those who like dancing. Sunday dawned, a more tranquil atmosphere returned to the valley as people went to and from the churches of their belief. Hannah Ball founded the first Sunday school in the country at the Priory Road Chapel, and churches everywhere still continue her good work. And Sunday afternoon is a time for some stay-at-homes to check their football pools, while others perhaps prefer less arduous pastimes. An enthusiastic member of the local camera club may devote himself to art. But most people like to get plenty of fresh air and exercise. Discovered that High Wycombe in 1951 is a town that is proud to put itself on show for all time. We are a thriving community of over 40,000 people. Whatever our job or calling, whatever our age or sex, and however quaint we may seem, we are the people of Wycombe. And we hope that the prospect for our great-great-grandchildren will be a happy one. And so the script was written, and the cameras began to turn, bringing to you the people of AD 2051, a festival portrait of Wycombe.